I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will report.
Substitute for the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R.
Ranking
38,
member reserves a point of order.
offered by Mr. Massey.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read. The gentleman from California, or excuse me, from Kentucky is recognized to explain his amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate H.R. 38, the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. I intend to vote for it, but and when it was first drafted, I think it was more complete. But what has happened is we've had a Supreme Court decision, and we've had some activity by the states, sort of changes the nature of H.R. 38. What is that activity? Well, 29 states are now constitutional carry. This will address Mr. Goldman's concern. 29 states are now constitutional carry. H.R. 38 sets up a situation where if you are in a state like Kentucky that has constitutional carry, and you travel to a state like California, which does not have constitutional carry, I have, in some ways, more rights to carry a gun in California than does a California resident, under the framework that H.R. 38 would establish. Now, those were just a few exceptions here and there to H.R. 38 when there weren't that many constitutional carry states. But now there are 29 constitutional carry states. What else has happened? Well, the Supreme Court decision of Bruen says that every state now has to issue a permit. So if I'm from Kentucky and I have constitutional carry, it means I now have constitutional carry in every state under H.R. 38. There's also sort of this other issue that Mr. Goldman, or actually Mr. Nadler's amendment got to that my amendment solves, because my amendment, by the way, is just a statement of a bill that I have offered, which is national constitutional carry. And what my bill says is that if it is legal for you to own a gun in a state, then it is also legal for you to carry that gun in that state. It doesn't impose on California a new set of gun rules or a new category of people who are eligible or not eligible to own a firearm. It just says, if the state of California has decided that you can own a gun, that you are able to own a gun, and that you meet those qualifications, and that the gun is one that the state of California approves of, then the state of California has to let you carry that gun. It doesn't provide any more rights to somebody from Kentucky and California than a person in California has in California, which is one of the problems with H.R. 38, is H.R. 38 gives me, the person from Kentucky, more rights in California than Mr. Kiley has in California. So we just solved this by doing constitutional carry for the whole country. If we're able to impose H.R. 38 and get half pregnant, surely we can get fully pregnant and do constitutional carry for the whole country. And I don't think this is, by the way, it doesn't rely on the Commerce Clause, which H.R. 38 does. My amendment, which is a restatement of my national reciprocity bill, just says the Constitution says you have the right to keep and bear arms. There should not be two standards. Yeah, we'll let the states, as Heller described, the Heller decision, have some discretion in who can own what, but once you've established that standard, you can't have another standard for who can carry that thing. I mean, if you can own it, surely you should be able to carry it. And by the way, there's been a lot of discussion about is constitutional carry good or not? Well, there are 29 states that allow it now, and guess what? 2 of those states, the legislature, both the House and the Senate in that state, and the governor, are controlled by Democrats, and they've not repealed it. They've had every opportunity. They control all the levers of government in Vermont and Maine, and they have constitutional carry, and guess what? They decided to keep it. It can't be all that bad if the Democrats in those states are keeping it.
Would the gentleman yield?
No, I've got to introduce this bill. Furthermore, a recent study in Ohio's constitutional carry law conducted by the Center for Justice Research shows that after constitutional carry was enacted, the rate of crimes involving a firearm decreased in 6 of Ohio's 8 largest cities. And it doesn't have an appreciable effect on law enforcement injuries or deaths by firearms in Ohio's cities of interest. So, and finally, the states are recognizing this. We're at 29 states. Every year, there's another state that joins the rolls of constitutional carry. It just makes sense. Over half the states have it. Instead of having a patchwork, let's just grant the same rights to everybody that the Constitution, the Second Amendment, has enshrined. With that, my time has expired, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Who seeks recognition?
I'll insist on my point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Wait, Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I withdraw my amendment.
The point of order is not really germane now that the gentleman has withdrawn his amendment.